Welcome to Am I the AH, where OP's mother is forcing and emotionally blackmailing him to marry his Indian cousin, despite the fact that OP's older brother has been deceived by an Indian girl for greed. It is a very interesting story. Let's dive into it. I, 31-year-old male, recently declined to marry my Indian cousin Madiha, 24-year-old female, because I was concerned that she may only be interested in marrying me to obtain US citizenship and could potentially leave me once she gets the citizenship of the land of opportunity. Background. My parents immigrated to the US in 1978. Initially, my father, 69-year-old male, worked as a laborer, while my mother, 58-year-old female, worked as a caregiver. After 8 years of hard work and savings, they were able to start a successful travel agency. We are all now naturalized citizens of America. In 1990, my two uncles also moved to the USA, and they are also naturalized citizens and are running their own businesses. 4 years ago, my father retired, and now my brother Saqib, 33-year-old male, and I manage the business. 2 years before our father's retirement, my brother went to India for a wedding where he met a girl named Afreen, 32-year-old female, and fell in love with her. After just 5 months of being in a relationship, they decided to get married. It was too fast, wasn't? Their relationship was limited to chatting and video calls because they were thousands of miles away from each other in different time zones. We all told my brother that their relationship was not mature enough to make such a big decision based on it and asked him to wait at least a year, but his continuous insistence finally compelled us to support his decision. Our family traveled to Calcutta, India, for 2 weeks for my brother's wedding ceremony, which was a lavish affair funded by my father. After the wedding, my parents and I returned to the USA because we were to look after the business, while the newlyweds stayed there for the honeymoon. After all that stuff, my brother eventually returned to the USA, but my sister-in-law stayed with her parents until she obtained her visa. Once all the paperwork was sorted out, she also moved to the USA. As required by law, after 3 years, she applied for permanent citizenship in the USA. Due to our strong family profile, she received approval within months. My brother and his wife apparently had a very good relationship, but the moment my sister-in-law got citizenship, her behavior changed towards my brother and other family members. They started having fights, and their quarrels finally ended with their separation after 5 years of their marriage. My brother has 2 children with her, and now they are with her, and my brother is paying the child support. Due to her betrayal, my brother remained upset for a couple of months, but he moved on with time. After 2 years of divorcing my brother, she sponsored her boyfriend, named Suleiman, 32-year-old male, to move to the USA and married him, and now they have a son and live a comfortable life. She played a long game. Otherwise, we would have taken legal action against her. My former sister-in-law and her husband obtained all of this by deceiving my brother. After this incident, we decided that none of our siblings would marry a non-American citizen, particularly an Indian. Now, I have a very negative opinion about Indian people marrying American NRIs. I believe all of them are greedy people looking to obtain American citizenship by marrying an American. You might not agree with me, as my mother does, but this is my opinion, and I always have strong opinions about things and people. After a year, my brother remarried our naturalized cousin Abida, 31-year-old female. They now have a beautiful daughter together. Last month, my mom expressed her desire for me to get married. When I mentioned introducing my girlfriend Emma, 27-year-old female, my mom clarified that she was actually referring to her niece Madiha. I was surprised to hear this from my mother because some time ago, she, along with us, was criticizing Indian girls for being greedy in marrying American citizens, and now she wanted me to marry an Indian girl. I had been in a relationship with my girlfriend for 3 years, but I had not told anything about my girlfriend to my family because our family does not approve of the girlfriend-boyfriend culture. In Islamic tradition, a Muslim man can marry a Christian woman, so my mother did not completely reject the idea of marrying a Christian woman. However, she advised me to consider a Muslim woman instead, and suggested that Madiha would be a good match. When I brought up my ex-sister-in-law's betrayal to my elder brother, my mother reassured me that not everyone is the same, and that her niece was not that type of girl. I insisted that I would only marry someone from here, but my mom continued to stand by her opinion. Then, she started emotionally blackmailing me, saying that our parents struggled their entire life for us, and if I do marry someone from America, then I should poison her first, or that she will die of stress, and blah blah blah. Got the idea? Not only that, my mom said that if I marry an English girl, she would take all my money after divorcing me. It is really hilarious and a typical Indian mindset. Normally my dad is chill and doesn't interfere in my matters since I have started earning myself, but he says what my mother tells him to say. LOL. For this reason, he also started pressuring me to marry my mom's niece. When both of my parents started pressuring me, I decided to investigate my cousin and learn more about her than what my mother had told me. So I contacted an Indian friend of mine named Azhar, 26-year-old male, who was senior to Madiha at the university. When I asked him about her, he told me that he knew her very well and that she had been in a relationship with a boy named Asif, 25-year-old male, for the last 4 years. When I told him the whole story, he revealed that Asif had been trying to move to the USA or Europe, but had failed to get the visa. He also told me that it was obvious that she and her boyfriend had planned to use me as a ladder to reach the USA. My friend also sent me some pictures of my cousin and her boyfriend together. After learning about my cousin's silly plan, I was shocked but grateful at the same time because I had discovered her intentions before she could execute them. When I revealed the truth about my cousin to my mom, she was confused. In her confusion, she mentioned that her sister, Madiha's mom, had contacted her and informed her that her daughter wanted to marry me. This confirmation only solidified the story my friend Azhar had shared with me. However, my mother didn't say much about the topic. I thought she was shocked to learn about the true nature of her sister and niece and was ashamed to have such greedy relatives, so I didn't bring up the topic again. However, the next day, my mother called me into her room and explained that I might have a misunderstanding about her niece. She assured me that she was not a greedy girl and suggested that the pictures my friend had sent me could be fake or edited. She told me that she had talked to her mother about my concerns, but she said that Madiha was not keen on going to the USA. Her mother also mentioned that she would be happy to stay in India after the marriage if I allowed it, and that it was her love for me that prompted her to discuss marrying me with her mother. She speculated that my friend Azhar might have ulterior motives, such as wanting to marry Madiha or having a grudge against her, which could have led him to spread such a shameful story about her. I know this was a new trick of my cousin to convince me to marry her, so I told my parents that I was not ready to marry her at any rate, and I would prefer never marrying. Upon hearing this, my mother started weeping and mentioned that she has fears of being abandoned in case I marry an English girl. I calmed my mother down and assured her that I am not going to abandon her or my father regardless of where I marry. I also told her that I might consider marrying any of my other Indian cousins except Madiha. I am sure that I am not wrong here, but tears of my mother sometimes put me in doubt. Can I be the jerk here? OP is not an AH, and he did very well by investigating his cousin before making any decision. It is not only about Indian people, it is common in other countries as well for people to marry American citizens for visas. OP did a wonderful job, so I would give him 0 out of 5 on the AH scale. However, OP's mom is an AH for forcing her son to marry her niece, despite knowing that her niece has a boyfriend back in India, and they have been applying for a US visa and have been rejected many times. So, I would give her 4.5 out of 5 on the AH scale. OP's father is also an AH for supporting his wife in forcing their son to marry a gold digger girl. What do the Mac Reddit fans think? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like the stories I brought you, just hit the like button, share them as much as you can, and don't forget to subscribe to Mac Reddit for a daily dose. Bye bye. See you tomorrow with some more spicy fries.